Howdy folks, Martin here, welcome back to Don't Fret. And today I want to talk a little bit about that point in a lot of people's lives. I've certainly had it when you start to question or you spend a period of time questioning, is this it? Is this my lot? Is this the extent of my life? And the reason I want to talk about it is I was speaking to a guy today who's going to become one of the speakers um, for my upcoming summits. I'm not sure where he's going to fit in yet, but he's got a very, very interesting story. After spending 10 years in the military, including seeing combat, he came back to civilian life and kind of found his way into a desk job, and it was kind of highly paid desk job, and he was successful from most people's perspectives, but he felt purposeless. He'd gone from a very kind of meaningful life, or at least a part of his life where he could attribute meaning, through to be feeling like he was just a cog in the wheel. And that would lead him to find alternative meanings and purposes. But in the meantime, while he was finding that purpose, he turned to alcohol and had some other troubles besides, which we will cover off when I actually get to interview him. But there's this transitional period that happens in a lot of our lives whereby we start to question, is this it? And often this can take the form of, in his circumstance, it was a very real and significant shift in his career. He spent time in the military, left the military, became civilian life, and had to make that transition. Not all of us have something so clear, obvious, and direct as a signal to change. So often as we get throughout, we progress throughout our lives, we start ticking things off, particularly men. We start to tick things off within our lives. House, kids, mortgage, cars, you name it. What is that checklist of life? The checklist, the 2.4 kids, the script, right? The societally given script of how we are supposed to live our lives to fit into this nice and tidy box of what it means to be a contributing civilian. So we pay a nice handsome lump of tax and we stay quiet. We don't ruffle any feathers. The problem with that is so often we can get to a point, often at that crest of our lives, where we start our lives and we start on this journey and this progress, and it's like the sun is rising up to its apex, and then all of a sudden we hit that point, start asking those questions, because our perspective, our mindset is that we are at the apex, and then the sun is starting to go down towards sunset, and ultimately, not to be morbid, but death. So once you hit that apex, are you then just waiting to die, effectively? And that's at the point where we could start asking some very deep and potentially dark questions, because in that period of time of feeling meaningless, we could often either turn to addictions, or we can turn to destructive behaviors. It's certainly tough on our mental health, because so often, particularly as we're following this script, we don't know why we're feeling the way that we're feeling. And so often that can lead to what we call in society the midlife crisis. So we start doing behaviors like buying the sports cars, or doing this outlandish behavior, and it's like, where did that come from? Right? And it's awful that we call it the midlife crisis, because when directed properly, this could be the most pivotal transformation you ever experience throughout your lives. Because the true perspective is, the sun doesn't rise and then begin to go down on your life. It just rises. There is no decline to death. if you have your perspective skewed on the right way, yes, your body may age, things will change, but you get to keep growing. You get to keep moving forward. You get to keep progress if you can maintain a growth mindset. And this point in our lives, when you start to ask questions, you get to start to explore your identity. And so often, the biggest transformation in your life can come from this moment. It's not a midlife crisis, it's an existential transformation. So if you have questions around, is this all there is to life? Is this my lot? Is this it? And maybe you're starting to kind of think of things of how to relive your youth, or go back in time and think, oh God, remember when I was 25 and I felt like I had, all the world was at my beck and call, or any feelings like that. You start to reminisce about those times. Those are signals that you're about to undergo this kind of transformation. And you can move through that transformation unconsciously, which will probably involve things like addictions, maybe sports cars, or whatever kind of manifestation of pain that you want to put out there. You can make it look good, you can make it look bad, it's still the same thing. Or you can move into consciousness and start to explore what your true purpose in life could be. And I've said purpose in life. I don't actually believe in purpose in life. I believe in meaning in everything. I believe you are purpose. But you can find that quest. You can find that thing that means you can extend a hand out to help somebody else that is where you were. Your mess is your message. That moment of transformation will give you a framework of movement. And no doubt there's been things in your life where you've broken through and you've learned how to break through, and you create a framework that you could teach that to someone else. That's what an existential transformation could be. It's a call to adventure. It's a call for purpose. It's a call to meaning. All you have to do is not refuse that call and lean into it. And that's all from me. Bye.